Voluntary Norfolk is an organisation that's been in existence since 1969. And we set up then as just a group of individual volunteers who wanted to do things for the local community. Since then we've grown from strength to strength, and we're still very much about supporting the local community with the help of volunteers. But we also seek to help the organisations that involve volunteers or have a particular need in society by involving volunteers and going out and doing that. So we have two main wings. One half looks after voluntary organisations and supports the voluntary sector in that way. The other half actually goes out and recruits individuals who are looking to volunteer and finding a relevant placement for them, either to find paid work or to actually do something with their spare time. I'm the volunteering manager. So my role incorporates the volunteer centres, in which we're sitting in one now. We have 4 volunteer centres, so there's this one in Norwich, we have one in Great Yarmouth, one in Thetford and one in North Norfolk in Cromer. The volunteer centres are places where individuals can come, find out about what volunteering opportunities are available for them, and we will actually give them all of the information they need, including how to actually make their applications to the organisation. I also run a befriending scheme, a community befriending scheme, where we involve volunteers to go and meet up with individuals in their own home normally or out in the society, to go and have a cup of tea and coffee, a little bit of a chat, and to help end social isolation. I started off volunteering for the Citizens Advice Bureau when I was working for finance companies. I decided I'd use that skill to help people who were a bit worse off rather than rich people. So I volunteered with them and then found paid work in the voluntary sector through the Citizens Advice Bureau. But I've also done conservation, I've also done mentoring with an organisation that supports refugees and asylum seekers, and I've also been a trustee. All of those roles are voluntary. First port of call would be the volunteer centre. Volunteer centres, they're situated all around the UK. This one in Norwich deals with the local Norwich area, but we've also got 4 for the rest of the county. Come and book an appointment and speak to an advisor at the volunteer centre. They'll take around about half an hour to an hour of your time, have a cup of tea and coffee, find out what it is that motivates you to volunteer, how many hours you've got available, when you're free, and they will let you walk away with about 6 or 7 different options. If you also need help in making your applications to those voluntary organisations, then we can also help you with that as well. Volunteering is a very important activity. There's a contribution that's made £22.6 billion to the UK economy last year just through the involvement of volunteers. So without that volunteer help, you'd either be looking at much higher tax bills each year, or alternatively £22.6 billion worth of work wouldn't have been done. It enhances your local community, it gives the individual something to actually do, whether that's to be filling some time to actually find for fun or to actually look for paid work. We did a survey recently with a number of employers, and 74% of those said they'd rather take on a member of staff who's volunteered over somebody who hasn't, sometimes irrelevant of skills and qualifications. So volunteering definitely has a benefit on somebody who's looking for paid work. It's also an ability to put existing skills to use or pick up new skills. So again, depending on what you're looking to get out of it, really depends on what the value of volunteering is. But it certainly makes a big contribution to the economy. The main point for me, for anybody who volunteers, but especially for young people, is do something that you enjoy and find fun. That way you know you're going to stick at it because you're going to enjoy going back each time. There used to be a view of volunteers would only do it because they want to help somebody. I think these days more and more young people particularly should be thinking about what can they also get out of it as well. Whether that's a certificate for saying how many hours they've volunteered for, whether that's qualifications that you might get through the training you get through volunteering, or whether it's to help with those job applications or university applications, I'd encourage all young people to volunteer.